What's up, everybody? It's another awesome day to be leaving FLA. We're in Tampa, Florida, and what are we getting ready to do?
We are about to get on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander.
It's our first time being on a Margaritaville ship. We've heard some interesting things, so we thought we'd go find out for ourselves.
Before we booked this cruise, we kept hearing the same things over and over. Worst cruise ever. Food is horrible. Don't waste your money. So when we found a 5-night cruise on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander out of Port Tampa, we weren't sure we wanted to do it, but we booked it anyways. So after 5 nights on board, we're going to share with you what surprised us, what disappointed us, and stick around to the end. We will share with you who we think this cruise is good for and some of our tips if you are sailing with Margaritaville at Sea Islander.
Hey everybody, my name's Michael.
And I'm Tiffany.
And if you're brand new to our channel, we're just a couple of empty nesters who moved to Central Florida pre-corporate retirement a couple of years ago, and more specifically, the bubble of the Villages, Florida. And we've been here documenting our real life experiences, our adventures, all of our expenses, and we share those with you here on our YouTube channel, also Facebook, Instagram. We got some free newsletters out there for you as well too. And so Tiffany and I, we're all about, we hear a lot of things out there that may be true, that may not be true. We just kind of like to go experience it for ourselves. We document that, and then we kind of just share with you what was our real life experience. So one of the most awesome things about living here in the bubble and Central Florida specifically is we do have all these awesome outdoor amenities and rec centers that we can go to, but we also have the opportunity to, very short drive to get to all the major theme parks, and also to get to 2 cruise ports, including Port Canaveral and then Port Tampa too, right?
Yes.
And so from here, from our house to Tampa Cruise Port was what?
Less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that was a Monday morning.
That's correct. We left, I forgot about that. We left during rush hour traffic. We left here, and there's a couple of different routes. You can take all back roads from our house to get basically all the way into Tampa, or you could take I-75, and I forgot what the belt line is called there. Maybe it's 275. Let me know in the comments below. But that's what we did. We kind of took the back roads, and we took Highway 301 for a little bit. Then we got on 75, and then traffic was pretty good right up until we got into Tampa. But it moved, it flowed. It wasn't like it was a parking lot in other major cities.
Right.
So very easy to get over there. And then once we got off the interstate and got in downtown Tampa, we drove right up to the cruise port terminal, and there it was. There it was, the Margaritaville Islander right there. And we were able to pull into the parking lot, park our car right there, right next to the ship.
Right, and before we parked, we dropped off our luggage.
Oh, I forgot all about that. That's correct,
And
yes.
one of the nice things was they had the actual sheriff's department out there running traffic.
Yeah.
So they're very efficient, and people listen to them.
Yeah, they're all there wearing their cowboy hats, so they look like they have some authority and they know what they're doing. There was no mistake who was in charge, and they knew how to get traffic to keep flowing, tell people when to stop, to let pedestrians cross by. So that was pretty good. I agree with that, because we did have to drive. We drove up to it. Like you said, we drove up there, dropped off our main luggage, except for our carry-on, and then we just made that loop around and went right back in the parking lot, parked right there. We could see the cruise ship. And we got on the cruise ship from our balcony, we could actually see our car until we left port that day, right?
Yes, easiest parking experience at a cruise terminal ever.
Yep.
And we had prepaid for parking in the parking lot, so it made it even easier.
So that's kind of tip number one. Go ahead and write that one down. We'll probably share it with you at the end of this video too. But yeah, go ahead and prepay for parking. It costs you the same amount whether you prepay or you pay the day of. Just takes one of those, makes it less stressful in the day of this embarkation day, right?
And it does get full.
Yes, it does get full.
So if you prepay, you're good to go.
So once we did all that, once we dropped off our luggage, once we got the car parked, it was a very short little walk right there. And again, the sheriff's deputies there, they stopped the traffic so that we could walk across the crosswalk. Margaritaville was great about having the different lines there for you to line up if you were supposed to be there early or midday or later in the day, and so forth and so forth. And one of the things that we decided to do ahead of time was we upgraded to a suite, right?
Correct. And when you upgrade to a suite, so we had booked a breezy balcony and we upgraded to a grand terrace suite, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Yep.
You do get some benefits with that, is one reason we chose to upgrade, not just because of the room. And one of them was priority embarkation, and you also get priority disembarkation. Sorry, that's a long thing to say.
Exactly.
And so it's all labeled, like Michael said, it's labeled very clearly what time. It had all the lines for the different time arrivals, and then you had priority, and everybody showed you right where to go, and we went right into the building.
Not only did we have priority, we had VIP priority, right?
The VIP lounge.
Sponsored by, and we're not sponsored by, Rooms to Go, right?
Correct.
It was the Rooms to Go VIP lounge, and so that was one of the extra benefits of that, because there was a ton of people that, you know, had early embarkation, and they were all lined up in the queue lines and stuff like that. Our line was very, very short. We had our own screening. We put our carry-on bag and Tiffany's purse and my cameras and stuff, and they went through very easily. And then we went in this little, you know, pre-embarkation VIP room that they did have free soft drinks and water bottles, and I think they had some breakfast items there for you as well
they
too.
had like a little sandwich and a little Danish or something like that, but there was no line for us, so we didn't even get to stop and eat or drink anything because they checked us right in.
There were some other, I guess, experts that had been on this cruise many, many times, because they stopped, they knew what they were doing, and they were loading up their bag full of water bottles and drinks, and they were wrapping up sandwiches and Ziploc baggies to take on the ship and stuff like that. We just skipped it because there's no line to check our passport. Very smooth, very efficient, very, very friendly, very, very competent, and within a matter of just minutes, we had done the whole, you know, security thing, and we're ready to get on board the ship, right?
That's right. And it really wasn't even that long of a walk to get on the ship either.
Yep.
I liked that.
So we'll go ahead and share, I guess, one of the negatives is, because we have cruise out of a lot of different cruise ports, is the Tampa cruise port. It ain't nothing fancy, right?
It is not fancy.
Yeah, it's more industrial,
whatsoever.
But it is very convenient. You park your car, you walk right across. It's very easy to get through security, and then you're right on board. So if you're expecting a very fancy cruise port, that's not the case in this one.
At least the Margaritaville terminal.
Exactly.
We did not.
Well, that's true.
We saw them as we drove by them, but the terminal was very warehousey, industrial type.
But it was nice. It was clean. It was AC'd and very efficient.
And it was easy.
It was very easy. Even for the general line, they were moving through very, very quickly. But for us, yeah, it was a piece of cake. We got through it. We did embarkation, and so we were super excited because we already looked at the photos and the videos online, and we know that, you know, the ship is totally themed. I think we stopped to get a little selfie there. It said Margaritaville right before we got on the ship. So we were excited about it because we know they have it's called the flip-flop bar, right?
Yes.
That's the main bar right there in the atrium when you walk in. So we were super excited. I was going to go straight for that because we did buy the drink package. I was going to get my first Margaritaville, the cruise first thing. They did have that roped off, so you couldn't go right to it. But the awesome crew, they were super excited, a lot of enthusiasm. We had a great overall cruise director. She's from Australia. We'll talk more about her later. But everybody, and I forgot his name and I forgot his role, but he was super excited. As soon as we got there, as I'm walking on documenting this, he comes right up to the camera and welcomes us to the Margaritaville Islander.
Hello, welcome aboard everyone, Margaritaville Islander. I'm so happy to have you here. Enjoy it. See you later.
Thank you.
That's right. And what they were doing was, you know, shuffling you towards your muster station.
Yep.
So that is the first thing we do anyway.
Yep.
Except for him maybe stopping at the flip-flop bar to get a drink. So this one you just had to go do your muster drill first.
Yep.
Which we did. And then you can explore the ship.
Yeah, and that's, again, going back to one of our tips. That's our tip for any cruise. Just get that muster station drill. Knock that out first thing. I was only going to stop at the bar because it was just right there. So we checked in the muster drill. Unfortunately, with the negative thing, some of the other ships that we've been on, other cruise lines, they will let you go drop off your luggage in your room ahead of time, so you're not, carrying your carry-on. They told us you weren't supposed to do it, but I think some other folks did go put their carry-on in their thing. But we were trying to follow the rules. We didn't do that. So I said, you know what, let's go find one of the bars. Let's get us a drink to start, kind of christen this cruise and start off with the right foot there. And so I didn't know it at the time. We made a beeline to it. I'd heard about it. It was the Tiki Bar, right?
Yes.
I forgot what deck it's on.
It is on deck 9 aft.
So we just made our way all the way up there, and it was already starting to get a little busy. And the awesome thing about it was I didn't realize at the time, but what I realized afterwards and during the whole cruise was that was the adults only section, right?
It is the adults only section.
And we may have sat there for a couple of hours, and so they have some nice tables out there.
Under the shade.
Under the shade, on the tiki, we did that. But they also have the adult pool over there and the hot tub. Some people had already had, what's the Luke Bryan song? 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita. There were some people that had already partaked in the pre Cellaway
pre-game.
Yeah, they pre-game and they were having a good time. So we grabbed one of those nice little tables there, and we tried out some of their drinks. Like I said, we did get the drink package. Tiffany's not really a drinker, and that's kind of one of the negative things when you do cruise. Like if one person in the cabin gets a drink package, both people actually have to get the drink package. But there's a lot of positives along with that as well too, because you get unlimited water bottles, unlimited Diet Cokes for her, and when Tiffany does drink, her favorite drink is
a margarita.
And she was on a quest to try every single margarita on every single bar on this ship.
We paid for it, right? So that was my job, and I'll tell you that at the end if I succeeded or not. We had gotten on the ship about 10:30, and it was around noon, so we decided it was time to eat. We needed to eat some food, not just drink a margarita. So we went to the buffet. You have to actually walk through the buffet to get to the Tiki Bar area, so it's right next door. And we'll go ahead and just say this one out loud. The buffet is not their strong suit.
Yeah. That's probably their Achilles heel in this entire cruise was the buffet.
We found a couple things that were good. The Chipotle chicken was good, and they know how to do potatoes. Whether they're roasted, fried, hashed, however they do it, they do know how to do potatoes very well and season them well. Yeah,
whether it be the buffet or the main dining or anywhere.
Yes.
They did potatoes great. Yes.
Anything.
Yep. And my go-to for any cruise buffet is kind of how I evaluate it. We've been on a lot of different cruise lines is buy their pizza. And there's some other cruise lines we go on, their buffet's not so good, but they have awesome pizza. Even their pizza on this was just, it was just okay. So we ate enough just to kind of tide us over.
But they do redeem themselves later. So
that's true.
Stick around.
Yeah,
stick around when we talk about dining.
There's some other good food options, but just their buffet, we didn't really eat the buffet hardly much of that first experience. So after we did the buffet, then we went back, I think, and had another drink over there at the Tiki Bar. Then they made the announcement, hey, your cabins are ready. You can now go put your stuff in your cabins and explore the rest of the ship. That's what we did. We decided to make our way to our cabin. I think we were on deck number 7, right?
We were on deck 7 in the aft.
There you go. So it was very convenient. We could just walk down 2 flights, or we could take the elevators. I will tell you, our experience with the elevators on this cruise ship were better than any of the other elevators on any cruise ship that we've ever been, because this is an older ship that they bought and they refurbished, and so they don't have the smart elevators on this where you just press a button up or down and the elevator comes to pick you up. You don't like press what number floor and how many people in your party. You literally just press I'm going up or I'm going down, and the elevators were very, very efficient.
That was a nice surprise. Elevators, definitely a plus column there. I think we shared an elevator maybe twice on this entire cruise. So that was definitely a plus for us.
Even on disembarkation day, we were not.
We had our own elevator.
Yeah, you weren't cramming there like sardines, Yeah. So there you go. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Originally booked a breezy balcony. I think we would have enjoyed that, but since we did upgrade to a Grand Terrace suite, there's only a handful of those in the entire ship. It was a much bigger room. So we got our keys, we opened up the door. Actually gave us our keys when we checked in, right?
They gave us, your
totally
keys were not
that.
at your door. They gave you your key when you checked in.
Most of the time you find your room key on your door. It's usually in a little envelope or a little door hanger that you rip open. So that was kind of a nice bonus because, we were all ready for this cruise. I bought a bunch of Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville shirts. We had our Margaritaville lanyards. We had our Margaritaville Crocs. We were all decked out.
We were.
So it was nice to go ahead and have our room key in our lanyard, so we had to worry about that. So we it's kind of old school it's kind of a little bit older ship as far as it's a little bit different to get into your room. I think we had to actually put it in the slot and remove it instead of just
tap.
No tap, right? But we did that and we opened up the room, and here's where we were pleasantly surprised.
Yes, it was very big, which we were hoping for with the suite.
Yep.
But it wasn't just big, it was bright and airy.
Yep.
And so a lot of our cruise ship rooms they're dark unless you have the curtain open, because they're browns and beiges and rust colors and gold. So it was very bright and it was completely themed.
Yep.
So we had Mother, Mother Ocean over the sofa, one of Michael's favorite songs.
Yep.
We had lyrics on the pillow and just lots of teal for Tiffany.
Yep.
So lots of aqua and teal. And so it was just very refreshing and bright and spotlessly clean.
Very, very clean. Yeah, Tiffany, she likes to go around and do the dust check, right?
I do.
On any cruise ship that we're on. So yeah, if you close the curtains to our balcony, you'd feel like you're in a resort, maybe like at a Margaritaville.
Hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of being on a cruise ship. So we really love the overall theming of that, and I'm putting some of the video of it on top right now as we're talking, so you can actually see what our room looked like. And so that theming continued all throughout the cabin. So you want to go to the balcony first, or you want to go to the bathroom next? Which where you want to go to?
Let's talk about the balcony.
Okay.
All right, so the balcony, what was nice was it being a grand terrace. The reason they call it that is it has a double balcony, or the balcony runs the whole length of the room.
Yep.
And so very large, and it had a lounger out there, as well as chairs.
Yeah, so most other cruise lines, you're on the balcony, you just have one or two little chairs and a little tiny little table. We had a big space to relax and have that lounger. Is really, really nice. And usually on the balcony, that is just your windows, just the balcony doors.
Right.
But since this went down the length of it, you had the little bonus on your side of the bed, right?
We had a second window, floor to ceiling. It was narrower, but it's right by the head of the bed. So if anybody else is like me, you lay in the bed in your cruise cabin, but you can't really see the ocean.
Yep.
And so having this extra window right by the head of the bed, you could lay in bed and watch the ocean as well. So again, a big plus in that column.
Yep. So then we came back in, and then we went and checked out the bathroom. And so the first thing I'll tell you about the bathroom is, well, before you even get to the bathroom, you have that little separate vanity area, right?
Yes.
So you have that separate vanity area. You have a separate closet. We did have 2 closets, lots of cabinets and closets. We had plenty of space for all of our stuff. And then you open up the door to the bathroom, and it's probably the biggest bathroom we've ever had on a cruise ship.
Yes, almost again like a hotel bathroom.
But they continue the theming all the way through that. So, they did a total refresh of the rooms and the ship that we'll talk about, but they can't do everything, right? So one of your flaws about the ship overall, and especially the bathroom, was what? Not
everything matches. So they still have like the brown and black tile and everything from the original bathroom.
Yep.
And they've tried to update it with some theming things. And Michael said it would be very expensive to jackhammer all that tile because the bathroom, the walls are tile, the tile floor. So that would be very expensive to do. So they did do the best they could by adding, like, our shower had a huge palm tree mural in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And the shower itself was great. Plenty of hot water and great water pressure, and it, you know, had a traditional bathtub and the shower with a removable shower head and all that kind of stuff. And then we did have a dual vanity with 2 sinks and everything. So it was very easy for both of us to kind of get ready, have our space to kind of spread out. So overall, I enjoy, and the toilet. The toilet was actually appropriately placed too. On some cruise ships, like, I had a weird little kind of angle, and it's kind of hard.
Guy thing.
Yeah, it really is. This was a nice, normal bathroom. You kind of, again, you felt like you're at a hotel or a resort, and it felt different than other cruise ships that we've been on.
You had plenty of room on the toilet.
There you go.
We'll leave it at that.
That's where I do my best thinking. Anyway, I digress. So after that, we checked out the cabin, and we dropped everything off. We said, you know what? Let's go explore the rest of the ship and go check out the theming. And that's where we were also very, very impressed. Now, I will tell you, we're huge Jimmy Buffett fans. If you're not a big Jimmy Buffett fan, you may not get all of the theming, all the decorations. And we watch a lot of other videos out there that doesn't seem like the people have ever heard of a Jimmy Buffett song their entire life.
Like, what's a pop top?
Yeah, exactly. But you're going to have a lot of references. You're going to have a lot of the Jimmy Buffett lyrics all throughout the ship. The different bars can be named different things and stuff like that. So we were all ready. We were, like I said, we already had all of our garments on to be fully in Margaritaville, you know. So we went and checked out the ship, and I enjoyed the theming throughout, starting with the flip-flop bar with the big, ginormous flip-flop right there in the middle of the atrium. And you have this huge atrium. It goes all the way from there all the way up to JW's, right?
Deck 10.
Yeah, well, all the way up to the Jimmy Buffett's steakhouse at the very top. And so it's kind of nice. You know, some other cruise ships you get on, you know, it's 1 level or 2 levels or 3 levels. It's nice when you're right there to be able to look up and soak all that in. And they have all the giant parrots and all the kind of other, you know, decor throughout that. The plane, everything. So, yeah, starting with that was really themed very well. And then everywhere you went on the ship, it was full-blown Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville theming.
Right, and so let's talk about the ship a little bit. So the Islander is the larger of the 2 ships that exist right now.
Yep.
I think at full capacity, it holds 2,600 passengers. We did not have full capacity. I think they said we were at 90. It seemed like we were at 50.
Yeah.
Because there's so much space on this ship. So full capacity is 2,600. So it is a smaller ship, and I think they have 900 crew. That is a 1 to 3 ratio of crew to passengers.
Yep.
So it is incredible, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. It is a refurbished ship. It was a Costa ship before. And there's a few nods to that throughout the ship. There's some Easter eggs around if you know about Costa Cruises.
Right.
And so, but the theming, they really did a great job. And I'm just going to talk about the cleanliness. We saw people cleaning all the time. Like I said, the carpets were clean, the floors were clean. And then the whole ship was just nice and bright and open. And I was surprised for a smaller ship that it felt like that.
Yeah, the least cramped I've probably felt inside of being a mega ship, right, in a long, long time. But yeah, the theming continued from all the different restaurants and then all the different areas. And then one of the highlights for us was the theming of all the different bars, right?
Correct.
And they got a bunch. They have a plethora of different bars. And so since we bought the drink package, we said, you know what, let's go check them all out. And we had the flip-flop bar, we had the tiki bar, we had the Bubbles Up Lounge, which was really neat, and they did some really neat drinks there. They would do the smoke bubble on some of the different martinis. They had the piano player that he would play there in the evenings. Havana Daydreamin' was one of our favorite bars to go check out,
and
right?
favorite bartenders.
Yep.
And that was kind of like old school Cuba. It was like a Latin vibe with and it had like red velvet settees and stuff, but then it also was the sports bar, so you could watch sports while you were doing that.
Yep.
So that one was fun. And then we also loved the one that was named after Jimmy's airplane. Michael had to kind of give me some of the history of that and everything. And so that one was the Craft Cocktail Bar.
And that's probably one of my favorite as well too, because I'm a big bourbon drinker. That's probably my drink of choice, and so they can make some really, really, really good cocktails, you know.
So let's talk about the drink package a little bit. Since we did go to all the bars. You don't have to drink. You
Yeah.
still have a good time if you don't drink on this cruise. Don't worry. But it was fun to visit them all.
Yeah, we typically do the drink package on every cruise line that we go on, and we kind of have to do what I call Michael math. I kind of figure it out what we're going to do anyway. I figure out, we drink a lot of water bottles. Tiffany likes, her Diet Coke and sodas like that, and sometimes it includes juices and coffee. So if you take that, you do the Michael math, and you figure it out, excluding all the beers and adult libations, we try to say, okay, is it worth our time? And so for this, it definitely was, right? But what was also really awesome about it was they had top shelf liquor on every single category. We've been on some other cruise lines where they say, yeah, bourbon's included, but no, it's whiskey. It's not actual bourbon. They had all the top brands. They had Blanton's, they had Taylor, they had Weller's, they had Angel's Envy, they had Buffalo Trace. I'm trying to remember what else they had. Pretty much every bourbon that I enjoy. All the Sazerac family brands they had, which is include your drink package. It wasn't only for the bourbons, it was also that for the tequilas.
Also for the tequilas. You didn't have to have Margaritaville branded tequila every time.
You can get Patron or whatever it might be, and all the different tequilas. You could do the same thing with vodkas and the gin, and then they had some really great beers on there as well too. So that's all included, and so that's the challenge too is, or maybe not the challenge, is one of the bonuses is
he sees it as a challenge.
He sees a challenge. Is, again, since Tiffany likes margaritas and she didn't really drink the other drinks, but there's a drink that sounds interesting to her on the menu, she can order. There's some that she would order, like, no, that's not my cup of tea. And she had 1 or 2 sips and didn't have to worry about that since it was on the drink package.
Same with wine.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend $16 for a glass of wine and then not enjoy it.
Yeah, and their wine selection, that's probably where they're a little weak on that. Their wine selection wasn't as good as some of the other ships that we've been on, other cruise lines. So each cruise line seems like they have some area that they shine in, other areas that maybe they don't shine so much. But on their premium liquors, they definitely shine.
Cocktails, they shine.
Yeah, they were real mixologists. They knew how to make a drink. Didn't matter where I got my old fashioned on that ship. It tasted great every single time.
Right, and if you don't want to buy the full drink, the alcohol drink package, they do have a soda package. And you get a fun cup with a shark or an alligator on top, even if you're an adult, have fun. And you get unlimited sodas and water from the bars as well.
So not only were the drinks great, but the bartenders were some of the best bartenders we've had on any ship, bar none. No pun intended there. They were very efficient, they knew how to make drinks, and they were very attentive. Sometimes when you go to a bar on other cruise lines, they're too busy looking down or looking at each other. They don't pay attention when the folks come up around the bar and sit, and then you walk up and there's nobody there. Next thing you know, you got 10 or 15 people, and they start serving people that just showed up, and you've been waiting for 10 minutes. Well, you didn't have to wait very long to get a drink on this ship. Didn't matter what bar you were at. That was the first thing. They were very good. They were efficient, and they were very friendly, very customer service oriented. They remembered our name every time we came back. They'd say, "Hey, Mr. Michael. Hey, Miss Tiffany. Are you having an old fashioned today, or what margarita can I get you for today?" So that was awesome. And kind of alarming at first. It was like, how do you remember my name?
I only got 1 margarita yesterday.
Exactly. So it's not like we were there all day. So that was an added bonus. One of the negative things though for us, since this kind of is old school, hopefully they'll update their systems. All the other ships you just kind of tap your card to do. This, they had to run your card. They had to bring you a paper receipt that you then had to sign and then keep up with. So.
Yeah, and so you had to take your card out of your lanyard little pocket every time because they physically had to swipe it.
Yep.
And so that was, just inconvenient. Our favorite thing about the bars, though, on board were that every single bar had a different cocktail menu. So they had cocktails that were special just to their bar and really fit the theming, like the Bubbles Up bar.
Yep.
Those definitely fit the theming. So like the margarita at each of the bars was the theme of that bar. So that's what made it more fun to try them all over the ship.
And Tiffany may or may not document that on Facebook in real time while we're doing that. So if you are on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook, but we have a Facebook. So go follow Tiffany over there because she does try to document things more in real time when we're actually doing that kind of stuff, right?
I left my review of all the margaritas I tried.
There you go. There's only one that you didn't like, right?
There was one that I did not like. It had a a lager, a Land Shark lager floater.
Yeah.
And I hate beer. So I just didn't like it.
I drank the rest of that margarita. So, but their bartenders were good. They were great mixologists that if, if you had their specialty cocktail menu and there's something that you wanted that wasn't on there, as long as they had that type of alcohol, they could probably make you any kind of drink that you wanted. So very awesome bartender service there. So that kind of leads into the next thing, which is food. We already told you they're kind of their Achilles heel. The thing that we really didn't like was their buffet. We ate that first day. I think we had it for breakfast one day, and it was okay.
It was okay. Better for breakfast.
Better for breakfast. But besides that, we decided to eat at the regular restaurant. And then also they have 2 quick service that makes them really, really unique, and that's kind of where they redeem themselves.
Correct. So the 2 quick services are out on the pool deck, and they face the 5 o'clock somewhere pool that way. And that's why we didn't find them the very first day, because we
were
had
in the back.
headed
Yeah,
to
exactly.
the back.
Yep.
And so they are Cheeseburger in Paradise and Mexican Cutie Cantina. So Mexican Cutie Cantina will do the tacos and the bowls.
Yep.
You know, they have different proteins you can choose, or you can leave the meat off. They do have beans as well. And then our favorite probably ended up being Cheeseburger in Paradise. I'll let him tell you about it because he ate it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I may or may not have eaten that once or twice every single day on the cruise ship, because you walk by, it just smells good. If you've ever been to a Five Guys, I mean, it's like Five Guys burgers. They smashed the patties. The meat was great. It was seasoned perfectly. It's all hot and fresh. The buns, you watch them cook it right there. I mean, they're constantly cooking the patties and putting the cheese on it and melting it, and they have awesome French fries right there as well too. And then they have the little condiment station, so you can be just like the song Cheeseburger in Paradise. You can put all those however you want it, you know.
Yep.
You can do it. And when we first got there, I just like, yeah, I'll take a cheeseburger. But then I started like, okay, the next day, like, can you make it a double? Like, sure. And then by the end of the cruise, I'm like, can you make it a triple? Just to see if they would do it. And the answer is yes. So if you like cheeseburgers, those things were spot on. And
the fries were delicious as well. So
yeah.
They know how to do potatoes. So the cheeseburger and fries are a great meal.
Absolutely. And the Mexican Cutie Cantina is pretty good as well too. And I actually think they had breakfast items. You could breakfast tacos. You could do that as well. So that was nice.
I loved the bowls over at Mexican Cutie.
But the rest of the time, we pretty much ate at the regular dining. And they have the main dining room, which is called Finn's, right?
Yes.
So you walk into Finn's, it's really nice and it's really beautiful. And they have this spiral staircase that goes kind of up to the upper level. And that's kind of where we ate all week, right?
Right. So the upper level is called Islander, and we ate in the upper level because that's one of the benefits of having the suite.
Yep.
If you reserve or if you book a aft-facing cabin,
right,
a junior suite, or a Grand Terrace suite, or a signature suite, or a corner Grand Terrace suite, all of those people get to eat in the upstairs part of the main dining room, and that is called Islander. And they had like white linen tablecloths, whereas Finn's did not have the tablecloths. Yep. It was just a little bit more upscale.
Yep. And not as many tables. There's more tables down there. You have a lot more tables downstairs, because upstairs you can either take the elevator and get off right there, or you can walk into Finn's and walk up the staircase. So it was all open. The perimeter, we could look down onto that, or pretty much since it was on the perimeter, everybody kind of had a porthole view. You had views of the ocean, whether you're right next to it or just one table over. That was another perk of that as well. So yeah, we really enjoyed it and had great customer service, and this is where they really redeem themselves as far as the food is concerned, right?
Correct. About the service, they do have anytime dining.
Oh, that's true. Yep.
So, which if you like that or don't like that, but you can eat whenever you like.
Yep.
But they try to put you with the same server if they can each night. So they do keep track of that. So that was nice. Even if we had a different time, we still had our same team, and they were great. So we also, yes, the food was great. And again, having the suite, there was an extra suite menu addition. So you had the regular menu, but then you also had an addition each night. Each night I ordered off the regular menu, and Michael usually tried something from the suite menu, just so we could try both.
Yeah, and so every cruise ship that we've been on, they'll get the staples, like they'll have a chicken dish, they'll have a salmon dish,
Yep.
or you can get the New York strip, if you don't want whatever their theme is for that. So I had to try the New York strip just one time just to see if it, how it compared. Because cooked the perfect temperature. I like my steak medium rare. You slice right into it, very tender, very juicy, seasoned perfectly. So I only had that once, so I highly recommend that. But then we did order kind of everything else off the specialty menu, like you said, and you would get the things off the regular menu. And your favorite thing probably was opening night, and that was,
believe it or not, chicken. I usually would never recommend that you order chicken on a cruise ship, right? I wouldn't even say this is the best chicken I've ever had on a cruise ship, because I haven't had much chicken on a cruise ship because it's usually not good.
right.
It is probably some of the best chicken I've ever had. It was called brick grilled chicken. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was a chicken breast on the bone. It was juicy. It had a lot of seasoning and flavor. The whole meal was great, even the accoutrements. And so it had something, I call it an Alabama white sauce. So if you're a barbecue fan, you'll know what that is. I don't know what it was, but that's what it reminded me of. And I got spoiled from there because that was such a good meal. And we're like, okay, we're eating in the dining room every single night because we have to try all these different dishes.
Yeah, so all the, their appetizers were great, and they were great to let you have 2 or 3 appetizers if you want to try, because I'm usually, let me give me a shrimp cocktail, let me get me a Caesar salad, but then they have some unique different appetizers. Well, let me try that as well too. And some of these appetizers, the portions were so ginormous that it would actually qualify as a meal.
Right, I got like jambalaya one night for an appetizer, and I just ate it as my meal.
There
like
you
I
go.
barely ate the entree because that was so good.
So there wasn't a single bad thing that we had off of either of those menus. The food was great. The appetizers were great. Desserts are kind of hit or miss on a lot of cruise ships. Sometimes they look really, really pretty, but they don't really taste like much of anything. They just kind of taste like fluff. Their desserts were pretty darn good. I enjoyed their desserts.
They weren't great, but they were better than a lot of cruise ships we've been on. They weren't, like you said, just fluffy mousse things.
So we had a great time with our food there, and then our customer service there. Again, our team was awesome, and they wanted to make sure they were very accommodating, anything that you wanted. And so great experience overall with the dining.
Correct. And so the one disappointment is the buffet, but everybody else should be able to find something that they want to eat.
But what did you hear about the buffet going forward? You actually heard something, right?
So they are, if you're familiar, they do have another ship called the Paradise that goes out of Port Everglades down in Fort Lauderdale. And they have redone that to be like a food market, a food hall concept. And then they're also doing that on the brand new ship that they're going to be premiering in 2027, the Beachcomber. That will be a food hall concept as well.
Yep.
So we heard not to be surprised if when this is refurbished that this one gets a food hall concept as well.
Hopefully so. So after the we ate a lot. That's what you do in cruise ships, right? So but if you love buffets, this the Jimmy Buffett buffet was not that great. That's their one weakness there. Then what was the other big pillars after that? So then it was entertainment, right?
Entertainment.
So entertainment started from the moment we got on the ship, literally with them, coming right up to the camera, welcome us on board, to everybody at all the bars and stuff like that. We're having a good time. And then we had the sail away party, which was awesome, right?
Sail away party was fun. I didn't even know where he was. Because when you sail out of Tampa, you get to go under the bridge.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to be up at the highest point of the ship when he went under the bridge.
So I could film that, yep.
But I went ahead and headed to the sail away party to see what was going on.
Yep.
And I was already on the dance floor before he got down there, because the crew really is out there, the entertainment staff, trying to get you involved. If you want to be involved. If you don't, you don't have to. But if you do, they are there to make you feel comfortable and get you involved however you want to.
And speaking of entertainment, the bands, the musicians, some of the best musicians that we've had on any cruise ships, they could actually play their instruments.
Correct.
Not just, some little track they hit on their iPad had, and they could actually sing. Every performer had a good voice. It didn't sound like bad karaoke. They could carry a tune. They knew how to sing that song with the inflection point and not change up the arrangement to sing it the way that song was intended to be sung. So great job at the sail away party. And then anywhere we went on the cruise ship, whether they were performing right there at the Flip Flop Bar, over at the Hemisphere Dancer, the Bubbles Up, Havana Daydream, or the theater, they were great. And some of these performers, they would do that. They would perform just kind of solo by themselves right there in a little small intimate setting, or they perform on the main stage. So throughout that, I would give them some of the highest marks as far as their caliber of talent, that they could actually sing and play their instruments.
That's right. The shows were okay. The talent was good. The shows themselves were just okay. And then we had some theme nights, and one night was the white party, which we have on other cruise ships as well. It was so much fun. Again, you might see me down, and the energy was off the charts. It was down in the Flip Flop atrium.
And so I went like on the second floor, and I was filming down her and everybody else down there in that stage. And then you had the electric violin player, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he had that. So he was playing that. And then he came down in the crowd with everybody else and performing. And so, the energy level was awesome.
And so you may see me down in the middle of the crowd dancing at the white party. Can't get him on the dance floor unless it's one of our 3 slow songs that he'll dance with me too. But so again, the entertainment crew was down on the dance floor, making sure they were leading line dances and making sure everybody was having a good time and dancing if they wanted to, and just big groups of people.
Yep.
Small groups of people by themselves. Everybody was down there having a good time.
The entertainment, the theming continued all throughout the ship, and I just remember about that. You had all these different unique places that you could sit around over there. You had the boats with the sails that you could sit over there. So you had all these cool things. Even if you don't want to dance on the dance floor, you could find some awesome little seating to be there around there on that.
Had a porch swing. Had a porch swing you could sit on.
So that was really good. So they really utilized that main atrium from the time we got on to all the different special events. I forgot one of the things they actually still do on this cruise ship that some cruise ships don't do anymore was they do the towel animals, right? Every time you come into your room every day, you'll have a different towel animal. So they had the towel animal parade.
Right.
And so all the cruise stewards, the cabin stewards, they all decorated all theirs up. They made theirs all their unique things, and they actually had a parade, and we got to vote and cheer on that.
Deck by deck. So you could cheer for your deck, cheer for your steward and everything.
No, hold on, let me go with the right one. Because I like when you say this one. There we go. What do you have here in your right hand?
It's dinosaur.
Dinosaur! Now, if you go to the left side, there is something dangerous. We are here with Margaritaville. It's all about fins to the left, fins to the right. So that's a shark. It's here, it's clear that's a shark, but there is a hang right here. And I want to know, Nino, which supervisor it is this hang, if you can tell us. There we go.
Keep Marvin.
Oh, it's the housekeeping manager, Marvin. There we go. He's a good boy. Come on, everybody, clap your hands for Nino.
So our deck came in second place. It was a run-up between our deck and another deck, and then the other deck won out.
Deck 6 won.
There you go. But that was a lot of fun. So they did that, and the white party there, and some other theme nights they did there. But one of the other most awesome things that they did on this cruise ship, and that was honor our military, right?
Right, salute to heroes. If you go on one, that you look for it on your agenda.
What I thought they did a great job on this was they did it right there in the main atrium, the Flip Flop bar, and they had the second level all set up. So they honored and saluted them, and then invited all of us to participate, to be able to watch and experience that. Of course, we had the American flag, but then we had someone from each branch of service they selected to hold the flag for their branch of service, right?
That's right.
Older brother and nephew all served in the Air Force. Other family members served from the American Revolution to present day. What a history. Thank you for your service, Becky.
And this was the first cruise that they had somebody on it that could hold the Space Force flags.
And gentlemen, let's hear it for Jade. Jade is my first Space Force! I almost fell over when I Space Force on board. She's 1 year E3 Patrick Space Force base. Jade, thank you for your service.
So that was fun.
That was fun. That was fun. So then they would call them up, branch by branch to the main middle of the floor, and they would honor them, and they would read off a story or two from a couple of different folks and tell you their whole background and stuff like that. And then they eventually had them all sing their song, right?
Right. They came out onto the ballroom floor, the dance floor, like division by division, branch by branch, and then. I may or may not have cried.
Yep.
And they just had some beautiful stories, and so thankful and grateful for all of these people and their families.
There is no song written quite like it to describe a country, its people, and its patriotism. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless our troops. God bless our veterans. God bless our heroes. And God bless the USA.
And then we kind of ended it with God bless the USA.
God bless the USA. And then they also honored all of our other heroes as well, too. So they honor first responders and police and fire and school teachers.
And teachers.
Yeah. And this is where your experience may vary. I'll go ahead and give you a little insider tip here. That week we went the week of May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And so since we went to that bar earlier, the adult only, we didn't see any kids, but throughout the whole cruise, we probably maybe saw 5 kids total on this entire cruise, which was nice. We're empty nesters, but our cruise director did say, and we thank our teachers for being back at school right now, because 2 weeks prior, I think they had 670 kids on board.
Yes.
For spring break.
So that experience would have been a lot different than our experience.
Yep.
We probably would have gotten off in Mexico and flown back home.
There you
I
go.
love kids. I was an educator for.
Right. But it was nice that we didn't.
It was nice.
It was probably the least amount of kids that we've ever seen on a cruise ship. Yep.
Yes.
So they did a phenomenal job with doing that. So kudos to that, to the entertainment staff, all the entertainment venues. It just felt very authentic and fun. And, we thoroughly enjoyed everything about that.
And that leads us into customer service.
Right.
All of that we talked about, it culminated, and it started with the customer service. Like you said, from the minute we walked into the terminal, to getting on the ship, to getting our stateroom, our steward was awesome. The best steward we've ever had.
The most attentive for sure, yep.
And they still do service twice a day. Which is awesome. We didn't always use it.
We had that first night. We did turn down service, and we pretty much had the do not disturb the rest of the time. But every time he says step out in the hallway, he's like, "Can I do turn down service? Is there anything that you need?" Like, no, we're good. We're all good. You already cleaned the room once. So he was super, super attentive.
So he learned to do our towel animals the first stop of the day rather than waiting for night service, since we didn't usually have night service. So we had different towel animals every day. So that was fun.
That was fun. So, but everybody on board was awesome, including the captain too. So the captain was a lot of fun. He was probably the most fun captain. I totally forgot about that. One of the theme nights, he came down there, and they had them change out of their uniform, and they all put on Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville.
It was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, is that
we
what?
had the captain's toast.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
That's very comfortable. Actually, I'll keep it up there.
How many others? Hey, look at you guys. Wouldn't that?
Wow.
This is all Margaritaville. See? Margaritaville tea. All right.
Nothing else to say.
Okay, look.
Okay, yeah. You got it, yeah?
You got big muscles. Here you go. It's a big one for you, Captain. That's what she said.
I'm very happy that you are laughing and you are smiling a bit, but if I drink that, I will tell you one thing. Forget everything for the rest of the days. I will take you to Alaska. Alright, so allow me to make a nice toasting for you. Let me think. Alright. So, eating with new people, drinking with new people, dancing with new people, swimming with new people, sleeping with clear, conscious and care. Cheers for you. I will say in Greek, Yamas Isigia to your health. Cheers.
So they were just a fun crew, and you could tell they really cared. They wanted people to have a good time. You know, some other cruise lines we've been on, we have good customer service, but
This was genuine.
This was genuine. It was genuine hospitality everywhere you went. Everybody just wanted to make sure that you were having a good time. Was there anything they could do for you?
And they really looked like they worked as a team.
Yep.
Even in the buffet, they got along, they were friendly, and they were helping each other out. There was nothing you ever needed, because they would get it for you even. And you know, a lot of other cruise ships, sometimes you see that hierarchy.
Right.
It's very apparent.
Yep.
And this one, you knew who the managers were, you know, over the teams and things, but they were in there working just as hard as everyone else. And so kudos to the customer service, to all the training that I know has to happen to make it happen across the ship that way. From every department.
So overall, we had a great cruise experience. It was a lot different than what we were expecting, you know. So we're going to share kind of who we think this cruise might be for, or who this cruise might not be for. Is that what we'll share next?
Yeah, so who we think this is not for. So if you are somebody who is used to the premium luxury cruises, and that's what you like, and that's what you really, if you go on vacation, that's what you want to have, then this cruise is not for you.
Right. This is not the Ritz-Carlton. If you're expecting 4 diamond level, you know, amenities and stuff like that, that's not it, right?
Right.
But it is nice, it's clean, it's themed, right?
Right.
We do like that. Who else?
It's also probably not for true foodies. The food was good. The food was really good. Better than some of the other big cruise ships we've been on, but not fine dining, not
Michelin
anything
star
really,
right.
you know,
The service was good,
or interesting. The food was solid. The food was good. The service was good. But if you're a foodie and that's why you go on cruises, because there are some out there that are great for foodies, this one's not for you.
Or if you just like really awesome buffets, you know, you're not a really good, but if you just really love a cruise buffet, that again, that's their one weakness for now. So that's probably another caveat to that as well.
Some people don't like to go to the dining rooms; they just want to go to the buffet.
Exactly.
The other people this cruise ship might not be for are those of you that love the brand new like mega ships, the ones that are like floating cities that have activities constantly and just have so many choices and so many options. And there's a time for that too, but this cruise ship would not be for you. Everybody else, give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a try. You never know. Sometimes the ones you don't think are going to be end up being the most exciting. So give it a try. So who do we think this is good for?
Okay.
Because I think it's great for a lot of people.
So I think number one, it's pretty good for anybody that has the right mindset or the right attitude before you get on board. Again, we're big Jimmy Buffett fans. We listen to his music all the time, and he says, you know, changes in latitude equals changes in attitude. Well, you might need to change your attitude and change your expectations just a little bit, and then you'll change your latitude, and then you'll have
before you change your latitude.
So I kind of recommend, you know, pre-gaming, you know, start listening to a lot of Jimmy Buffett music before you get on, kind of get in that tropical state of mind before you even get on the ship and know what you're getting yourself into. So who's this cruise for? I think it's really for, again, License to Chill, another Jimmy Buffett reference. If you're wanting to just go chill, if you're wanting to relax, if you want to enjoy yourself, have a good time, no matter where you're on the ship, that you're kind of soaking in that theme of Jimmy Buffett, then I think it's a great cruise for you, right?
Yep. I also think this is a great cruise, probably number one, for groups.
Oh, yeah.
The people that we saw that came with a friend group were having a great time.
Yep.
And we even said that, like, we could picture this.
We have our awesome cruise crew that we've already been on a couple of cruises, and we got a couple more group cruises that you guys already scheduled with us. We're thinking about this. I told Tiffany, like, let's just go ahead and get it on the calendar for next year, the exact same week. It was a lot of fun because while we were on this ship, we were thinking about a lot of you individually and collectively, like this person and this couple and these, like, they would have been even better had we had more of you folks around there with us. It would have been awesome, right?
They have a cornhole course.
Oh, yeah.
Who has that?
Yeah.
It's so fun. You're throwing cornhole into hammocks and palm trees.
Yeah, kind of like a putt-putt course, but for cornhole. And it's all themed too, right? It's all
Yeah, it's
themed.
all themed.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
the fun part.
It was awesome.
There's also some great group space.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have some spaces set up just for groups. And then they have just some nice large spaces that groups can reserve, and I can help you with that as well. So not just the fun activities and fun
Right.
chill vibe, but if you need to meet or you want to play games or you want to do things like that, there's actually some really good spots set aside on the ship just for groups.
Yeah, I mean, here in the Villages, we have, I don't know, like 4,000 clubs, all these different groups, and we thought immediately, this is perfect for affinity groups, and the number one would be the Parrot Heads. We have an awesome Parrot Head club here in the Villages. They do the blood drive several times throughout the year, so I did do a video on that, so go check that out. They do a lot of awesome things inside the bubble, but we thought, you know, no matter what, if you're a Parrot Head club, because we've been on other cruise lines that have had Parrot Head clubs on these other cruise lines, I'm like, this is perfect for any Parrot Head club. So the Villages Parrot Head Club, if you want to go on this, reach out to Tiffany. She'd be glad to help book a cruise for you guys, and heck, we'd probably enjoy you and go on that cruise with you, you know, kind of act as your MCs. But other affinity groups, so some of our friends, they like to go on gaming themed cruises, right? So if you're a gamer, like to play board games, like any type of group, I think this would be fun for, right?
If you're fun, this is for you. If your group is fun, this is for you. If they're not fun, stay home.
Yeah, and then it probably would be good for families, you know, if you go during family time. We enjoyed our time without the families, without the small kids. So here's the deal: you guys go during spring break, and you take, you know, the 600-700 kids on board, and then you leave the other weeks for us to go.
They can go in summer as
There
well.
you go.
It's
There
too
you go.
hot.
There you
So
go.
summer and spring break, take your kids.
Yeah, but the other that you had mentioned earlier, I think is, to me anyway, was you thought this would be really good for first-time cruisers, right?
I do. I think this would be a good first cruise. We're calling it a gateway cruise.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in Florida.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get to.
Yep.
It's very stress-free. It's easy to get on the ship. It's a smaller ship.
Right.
So there's not a lot to have to figure out. Sometimes when we're on these big ships, we don't even find things till day 6.
Yeah.
And so it's not very big. They have a paper agenda, so you can look at all the activities.
Right.
And then also, because the entertainment crew is so great,
Right.
they will help you get involved. And if you don't want to spend the money on one of the big cruise lines or luxury cruises, or even, I mean, just a regular cruise, 7-day, try a 4 or 5 nighter on Margaritaville.
Yep.
And just see if you like cruising first.
I already kind of shared with you some of our tips, but we'll kind of recap those real quickly here. Number one, prepay for parking. We highly recommend that because it costs you the same amount, and if you show up the day of, the prepaid, that's the parking lot that's adjacent to it may be already sold out, and then you'll have to pay for valet parking, or that may be full too, and then you gotta go find somewhere else to park way down the street. So prepay for your parking, number one. Number two, if you can upgrade, we highly recommend it. So, you know, no matter whatever level you're in, that's the awesome thing after you've done that, and Tiffany would be glad to help you out with the upgrades, whether it be the drink package or pre-embarkation, disembarkation, all of the, if you want to get off in the cruise ports and do things, you can do that, or they'll have the opportunity, not always, but you'll have the opportunity like we did to upgrade to a suite. So if you can do that, highly recommend doing that. What's the other tips we got for them?
Another tip is to make sure you check out Cheeseburger in Paradise and not the buffet on day one, and to ask them for what you want. So if you want a double or you want a triple, make sure you ask for what you want.
There you go. And then our other big tip is, you know, we didn't talk about the cruise ports we went to because we do cruise a lot, and we've gone to Mexico a lot. Like if you really want to enjoy all the amenities, then let everybody else get off the cruise ship, and then you pretty much have all the pools, all the bars completely to yourself. It is a beautiful ship to get to explore during port days when everybody else is off doing excursions, right?
That's right.
So there you go. So kind of mentioned it, Tiffany and I, you know, we live in Central Florida. We do have our own travel agency, michaelandtiffanytravels.com. So if you haven't visited our website, go visit our website, sign up for our newsletter. Tiffany and I, we cruise a lot. We've done 4 cruises now over the last 6 or 7 weeks. We still got one more cruise we got to edit for you on a celebrity cruise that we just did. So stay tuned. We'll be getting that video edited and share with you here very soon. But, you know, we've cruised here recently on MSC, Disney, Celebrity, Norwegian, and now Margaritaville. And so, yeah, we love to cruise. It's our favorite way to travel right now during this season of life. And so we'd be glad to help you out, whether you're a brand new cruiser, you're a seasoned traveler, you want to go as a group, family, friends, or you got a big affinity group, we'd definitely be glad to help you out with that, right?
Yep, on any cruise line. The big question is, were all of those reviews wrong? some of their complaints were probably valid, and like Michael said earlier, your experience may vary from ours. It may depend on what time of year you go, which cruise you were on, especially which ship you go on. So we were on the Islander. We were pleasantly surprised. It was the most relaxing vacation cruise that we've been on, and we just had a great time and met a lot of other awesome people. So give it a try.
And the other question is, would we, cruise on this cruise ship ever again? And the answer, I think you can probably figure that out for yourself, right? Is absolutely yes. So much so that I'm already been looking online at their website and like, okay, when can we do our next cruise? It is kind of hurricane season right now, so who knows? We'll monitor the weather. We might take a last minute
We
cruise.
may want to reason with hurricane season.
There you
right?
go. Yeah, there you go. Another Jimmy Buffett reference there. But yeah, absolutely. Tiffany and I, we think we'll probably add this to our rotation. The Islander specifically, we'll probably add that. We'll probably cruise on that 2 or 3 times a year. We're thinking. We're definitely thinking of our awesome cruise crew. I think that would be a lot of fun to do that. And then we are super excited about the brand new Beachcomber. I don't think we'll ever do the Paradise. Maybe we'll do it for fun and giggles just to make a document, but we'll tell you more about that, Port Everglades in our next video. That's what we just recently cruised out of. That's one negative for us. And then, but the Beachcomber is going to be going out of Miami. So if the Beachcomber was going out of Port Canaveral or Tampa, we would definitely be on that in a heartbeat. But they do have their inaugural selling at the beginning of 2027. So who knows? Maybe we'll make a group cruise on the Beachcomber, and then we can all ride Brightline from here in Central Florida all the way down to Miami, not to deal with all that traffic, right?
Brightline takeover.
There you go. So yeah, we're definitely going to be back on this cruise ship. So if you see us on there, say hello. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you've watched at this point and you haven't done so by now, smash the thumbs up button, drop us a comment below, hit the subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and then do us another huge favor by sharing this video and our channel with other awesome people. They're just looking for fun and positive content, and they want to know more what it's like to really live here year-round in Central Florida in the world's largest active adult retirement community. Or if they love to travel, they love cruising, then you've come to the right spot. Hope everybody has an awesome week. We'll see you in the next video.